Ba Well, good morning.
Morning.
Good morning. So good to see you here today. And to you and for those who are joining us virtually, we're appreciated that you take time out of your busy day to join us for our November board meeting. I'm still getting used to practicing saying November. It's hard to believe that Thanksgiving, if you really think about it, Thanksgiving is about around the corner. So I know for the students and the faculty, you would feel you probably just get over the midterm and then you're gearing up for the final again. But we are excited that on campus you see that we're energized by the learnings and all activities that continue to unfold on campus. Secretary Schumann, do we have a quorum for today's meeting?
Chair Chen Zhang, we do.
And is the live streaming functioning properly?
We do have affirmation that it is, yes.
Thank you. And at this time, we'd like to call on the board for a motion to accept today's agenda.
So moved.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And are there any comments from our trustees regarding our last meeting minutes? Thank you.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. As I mentioned, that Thanksgiving is around the corner, but today I want to highlight another national observance, and that is the one that all we Broncos should take pride in. Tomorrow we'll kick off our university's commemoration of first generation college students. Very exciting. It is a national recognized day, but the national day falls on November 8th. And at Western, though, we're going to start celebrating early. From November 4th, yeah, we like to party early. From November 4th through November 8th, in the Heritage Hall, there will be an exhibition featuring the first generation students' artwork and their stories. At Western, we have a long history of welcoming first generation students with open arms. And we're very proud that that represents a lot of our students. Over the years, I have heard and met many students and how they finished their degree at Western and move on to do very great things. And I think their experience here not only changed their lives, but also impacted on the people who followed their footsteps. Personally, I am a firm believer that the social mobility starts with providing access to college education. And I have had the pleasure, and I'm still having the pleasure to work with a few of them. For instance, at my companies and financial, we are having one that is graduating this summer. He has worked for us for 2 years while coming out of Western for his degrees. And right upon his graduation, he will take the Certified Financial Planner exam, challenge exam right away, because he has completed all the required courses to qualify him for the challenge exam. So we are very excited about that, and he has a very bright future ahead of him. So we're proud of our students, alum, and proud to join the national recognition. If you have a chance, please visit the exhibition, and I'm sure you will be impressed and be proud. We will be considering several items for action during today's meeting. The first up for consideration is the proposed sale of a property in downtown Kalamazoo. Vice President Vaniclay will present on this requested action. The next item for board action will be brought to the floor by Trustee Renveld, the results of the university's external audit, which was conducted by Plan Moran. And Dr. Diane Anderson, Vice President for Student Affairs, will bring a recommendation for changes to our Student Code of Conduct. In addition to these items, we'll also have consent items to address. There are curriculum proposals, a personnel report, revised the bylaws for the Paper Technology Foundation. This board's meeting dates for 2023, again, 2023 already, and the financial reports. And at this time, we'd like to ask President Montgomery to share his reports with the board and those attendants. Microphone's yours.
Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. Greetings to everybody for joining us today. It's great to be together again. I think it's we met about 2 months ago, but it's been a short time, but a very productive time on the campus. And so I just wanted to review some of the incredible accomplishments and impressive activities that's been going on in the last several months. You know, we're at a point in the semester where many of our students feel they're hitting their stride, but they're also dealing with a lot of stress. And we know from national surveys and data out there that many young people feel under incredible stress and suffer from some mental health challenges to a varying degree. And so it's a very real situation. And our campus has looked at its activities and student studies and the extracurricular activities and tried to make sure that as we look at all of our programming, that we're prioritizing student well-being as part of that process. Our student leaders have been really at the forefront of making sure that the campus is cognizant that as people find their purpose, fulfill their academic mission, that we do prioritize and make sure that we pay attention to mental health. And one of the ways they did that this year is organizing a mental health week and a mental health summit. To keep the importance of emotional, psychological, and social wellness at the forefront of our conversations and activities on campus. I want to express appreciation to them for their leadership in raising awareness, making sure that people and students are able to connect to the resources that are available on campus and make sure that our services are equally responsive to students' needs. At last trustees meetings, I shared the news of one of our latest additions to mental health support. It's a 24/7, 365 teletherapy option and crisis counseling through a You Will platform. It's a service that was actually just featured in the October Wall Street Journal. And our own Dean of Students, Retha Ravendran, as well as the Western Student Association Chief of Staff, Alyssa Ewing, were quoted. So they're now media superstars. So, but thanks to both of them for participating and talking about this effort and a reaction to it. This week, we held the third of our employee engagement workshop series. We've had 3 sessions, each of which had a good, solid, robust attendance, where participants came together to help us enhance and improve our workplace environment and amplify employee voice. The key things from these meetings was to get the input of both what did our surveys tell us, and then what should we do about it? What are the most important priorities? How did we identify them? And then what would be the action steps which would make the most difference to our employees, so that rather than looking to enhance employee engagement and morale, for people, they're actively engaged in the creation of the process and interactive process. So it was a very well, a very actively participated in activity. I think everybody who came away more positive, but it's just a step. It was the next step in the continuum of how do we get information now, how do we prioritize that information, and how do we develop an action plan going forward. And so we'll be reporting back to the community in the next few days about the results of the survey, of the forms, as well as what they mean in terms of what our next action steps are going forward. Again, this represents a real willingness of everybody to engage in making this the campus of choice that we all want it to be. And so I want to thank people participating. Update you, we also had a very busy week with provost candidates coming campus. This position as the Chief Academic Officer is obviously critical to our success. And so I want to thank our faculty and staff and students who participated in the search process and help us identify candidates and then talk to them, met with them in a whole variety of different sessions over the last week. I want to give a particular shout out to Dr. Sarah Summy and Brian Gogan, who chaired the search committee and did an outstanding job with their 14 colleagues. So can't thank them enough about that. Just a couple of other updates. Later at today's meeting, you'll hear more about a program called Bronco Connect, which is a new living learning community that was powered with Empowering Futures money to support housing and dining scholarships. This scholarship and the program are just another one of the ways in which we're investing in student success. This semester we'll also be building out and talking more about the WMU paid internship program. This gives an opportunity to provide wages to support students who are exploring internships, not just really in internships, but high quality internships, ones that have a mentorship component, have a career component to it. And so we're actively working with local companies and other companies around both in the private sector and in the nonprofit sector to build those partnerships to get high quality internships, as well as have our navigators connect those people, because we know that students who do have those experiences are more likely to stay in school. They're more likely to graduate. They're more likely to get jobs. They're more likely to stay in the local community. And so we get a virtuous cycle from this innovation. And so my hat's off to the team for that paid internship program that they've been working on and putting it together. It really is a novel one. It builds off what we have in other scholarship and internships program on the campus, but we try to bring it to scale. This is the key. We want to make sure that every student gets not only one, but ideally more than one of those internship experiences so that they can help them on their journey. A couple of last pieces of great news. We at Western were started by our community's decision to invest in education and the power in education. And so we've benefited for decades and decades from that connectivity between our institution and our local community. One of those individuals who has invested in our campus many times was the late Irving S. Gilmore. And last month, we had the opportunity to celebrate both homecoming and to mark the 50th anniversary of the College of Fine Arts. It was a great ceremony. At that ceremony, we announced that the School of Music would be named after Mr. Gilmore. He was a business leader and a gifted pianist in his own right, passed away in 1986. But one of his legacies is the Irving S. Gilmore Foundation, which has been continually continuing his work and investing in our campus. They've invested some $30 million in WMU since the mid-1980s. Past contributions include $2 million to fund the Irving Gilmore Theater Complex. Most recently, another $2 million to support our new virtual imaging laboratory, a technology lab initiative, as well as a signature dance studio to be located on the top of the renovated Dunbar Hall. So we want to express our great gratitude to the foundation and to Irving S. Gilmore, and the naming the School of Music after him is a fitting attribute, fitting testimony to his ways he supported the campus. So with that, I'll turn it back over to you, Chair Chen-Zeng.
Thank you, President Montgomery. I cannot think of anybody more deserving to be named the Gilmore for the School of Music. I think because of the Gilmore Foundation, we as a community was able to attract some of the literally world-class musicians to our community to perform. And so for that, we're very, very grateful. And I now would welcome to the podium our representatives from our shared governance partners. At Western, we have 3 shared governance partners, our Faculty Senate, the Western Graduate Student Association, and Western Student Association. And we have the shared vision of maintaining and advancing this university's reputation for excellence, and we appreciate your effort to work with this board to move our university forward. Thank you. Go ahead.
Good afternoon, Chair Chen Zhang, members of the board, President Montgomery, colleagues, and guests. On behalf of the Western Michigan University Faculty Senate, thank you for the opportunity to address the board and to update you on our activities. Earlier this week, many celebrated Halloween. However, October 31st is not only Halloween at WMU, it is also the last day for curriculum proposals to be submitted to make their way through the department and college curriculum committees and be signed by the college dean in order to be eligible for the fall 2023 undergraduate and graduate catalogs. This year, there has been a record number of proposals. To that end, Dr. Nick Witchey, interim curriculum manager, requested that the Faculty Senate Executive Board grant the deans a one-time 2-week extension to review, approve, or disapprove the proposals that have made it to their office by October 31st. This request was affirmed. Last year, there were approximately 500 curriculum proposals for the entire year. This year, we have already exceeded that number. Thank you to the department and college curriculum committees for this heavy lift. While many proposals are finalized within the college, others move forward for review to Undergraduate Studies Council, Graduate Studies Council, the WMU Essential Studies Course Review and Approval Committee, and at times the Faculty Senate Executive Board, especially for organizational change proposals. These proposals will keep the aforementioned councils and committees very busy for the rest of the academic year and will continue to improve the curriculum offerings at WMU for the betterment of our students. Of course, the last approval stop lies with all of you, and you will see these proposals by the end of the 22-23 academic year. The council that I would like to highlight today is the International Education Council. This council was also featured at the October 6th Faculty Senate meeting. The council is chaired by Dr. David Huffman, Professor of Chemistry. The committee is comprised of 15 members, 11 faculty, 3 administrators, 1 undergraduate student, and 1 graduate student. The council serves in an advisory capacity to initiate review and recommend policies dealing with the international aspect of the university's vision, mission, and goals. It serves to advocate for continued internationalization of the university and to maintain review of the university's various administrative arrangements, policies, and procedures of international programming and activities. The IEC participates with the leadership, support, and collaboration of the Heineke Institute of Global Education in the American Council Education International Laboratory 2.0. As higher education continues to be shaped by the global pandemic, political and social volatility, technological transformation, and accelerating climate change, participants in ACE's internationalization laboratories are learning to face these shifting realities with agility and innovation. The IEC also continues to provide guidance for the internationalization components of the WMU strategic plan, which includes support of the institutional culture of internationalization and global engagement, increased competitiveness in international mobility, and the integration of diversity, equity, and inclusive priorities into all international initiatives. As you've just heard, this council is one of our hardest working councils. Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang, for allowing me to address the board today. I'm available to answer any questions.
Thank you, Dr. Sami. And just a couple comments. One is on behalf of the board, we greatly appreciate all you do. And also thank you ahead of time for all your busy work going to be with the curriculum approval, the stack of papers. Because I think a robust curriculum is critical for the future of this organization. So we appreciate all your work. And 2, for your highlights of the International Council. I think the interesting phenomenon is growing up, I won't say growing up, but when I step into my adult age, all we hear is the world is flat, right? The world is flat now. But with the pandemic, don't you ever have the feeling that the world is getting round again? It's less flat than before. So we appreciate all the work you do to make sure it's flat for all of us again. Any questions? from the board? Thank you. And next, we are going to welcome Mr. Chen Kit-sun, the Western Student Association President.
Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. Thank you for also mentioning about celebrating first generation Broncos. It's actually empowering because I'm also a first generation student as well. Good morning, everyone, and happy Civic Engagement Week. It's such a fascinating time to be in the United States now as an international student experiencing a midterms election. It's even more fascinating that my home country, Malaysia, will be having our very own elections in about 2 weeks. Both elections are potential critical junctures and referendums of the country's future. What a great time to be a political science student, right? Nevertheless, I would like to take this opportunity to thank Mason Dirat, WSA Executive Officer for Government Affairs, for spearheading this week-long initiative about civic engagement. We had a very fun meet and greet session with the administration yesterday evening. We had some tech training going on and are excited to continue working with university leadership in addressing campus engagement concerns. As we're gearing up and deciding the future of our country, my team and I have been working tirelessly to set up student success within our ever-changing campus community. With this said, WSA has made tremendous progress with the 7 priorities our administration has laid out during the previous Board of Trustees meeting. But today, I would like to highlight some of the key initiatives as we set out a vision to adopt a whole of institution approach where we continuously collaborate across departments and organizations to create synergies for us to address student concerns more effectively and efficiently. Firstly, WSA had a very productive joint cabinet meeting with the President Montgomery's cabinet last Thursday. For the first time in 3-year history of these meetings, our team have committed to participating in 2 joint cabinet meetings this academic year. The first of these 2-part series serve as a discussion avenue to set collaborative and measurable goals for WMU and WSA cabinet members. We are looking forward to following up on those goals in our second meeting to be scheduled for late spring. This new collaborative approach strives to reduce silos between the university administration and students. As a matter of fact, President Montgomery and I have set out a few potential collaborative measures to address engagement issues. I'm very excited about it, and I believe the President is too. So to the campus community, we hear you, we see you, and stay tuned to the updates. I also would like to take this opportunity to thank both Chief of Staff, Dr. Kayla Schumann, and Alicia Ewing for their leadership and coordination to make this joint cabinet meeting a success. This collaborative approach has also proven successful in our advocacy effort for safer off-campus pedestrian safety. Under Student Body Vice President Hannah Marcon's leadership, WSA College Pan-Hellenic Council and Interfraternity Council, we were able to work collaboratively with the Office of Government Relations. A huge shout out to Vice President Jeff Brenneman and Assistant Vice President Lisa Garcia, WMU Department of Public Safety, shout out to Deputy Chief Timothy, as well as the City of Kalamazoo to address this matter. A week after the meeting with the Deputy City Manager and his team, concrete barriers were installed across West Michigan Avenue. It's fascinating how having a collaborative approach could help navigate through bureaucracy. As we lost Broncos over the past year due to unsafe pedestrian streets, we not only grieve along with the campus community and their loved ones, but we are committed to address and strive for a safer community for all of us. While installing a concrete barrier is a huge win, it's only the first step. And we will continue to partner with the city and the university administration to provide a multifaceted approach to addressing this matter as we move forward. Our advocacy through collaboration does not stop here. This week, we're aiming to release a survey to all students to understand how to improve the accessibility of Kalamazoo Metro buses. The WSA team has been working very closely with Auxiliary Enterprises, particularly Director Rob Pennock, and Metro to ensure students who have night classes and do not own motorized vehicles are not stranded on campus moving forward. Furthermore, next Monday evening, we're collaborating with Career and Student Employment Services with the guidance and leadership of Senior Director Dr. Evan Heiser and Student Employment Coordinator Amanda Jefferson to organize a forum to address student employment concerns on campus. WSA is also coordinating efforts to address student engagement that was severely impacted by the pandemic. A survey and a forum is currently in the design phase, and we'll be working closely with the Office of Student Engagement and Division of Student Affairs to execute them. One of the most exciting initiatives that WSA was able to contribute regarding promoting engagement was purchasing 2 brand new smart boards for RSOs to utilize for brainstorming, training, and most importantly, collaborating. I believe a few administrators here today would agree with me as we had quite some fun exploring them yesterday evening. Our collaborative approach also utilized a week-long initiative and events to generate momentum of engagement. The Mental Health Week, for instance, that was organized from October 3rd to October 7th, was our first very successful attempt. We were able to collaborate across 7 university departments and 9 RSOs. And we were able to increase engagements significantly. We have also partnered with the Office of Health Promotion and Education to fund a graduate assistantship for mental health peer education. The peer education program is currently under development, and we're expecting to hit the ground next semester. During Homecoming Week, from October 10 to October 14, we were also able to collaborate with the Office of Student Engagement to have a rock painting activity to promote pride for the university. Additionally, it's very empowering to see alumni coming back to the university to celebrate this amazing institution's existence and growth. Congratulations to Homecoming Royalty, Denzel Johnson, and Carlos Loring too. Well, I'm a little bit jealous of the class ring though, so if anyone's willing to sponsor me, please let me know, as I'm graduating as an undergrad in 44 days. It would be a fascinating, fantastic graduation gift for me. So please let me know. As mentioned at the start of the speech, this week is Civic Engagement Week. We've worked with the City of Kalamazoo to carry out a walk audit around the perimeters of campus last Friday and a tabling session this Monday. We collaborated with We Talk yesterday on a highly debated topic, Roe v. Wade, which will be on the ballot next Tuesday. We will also be having a forum for student assessment fee or SAF leaders, and a pizza and politics session with the College Democrats later today as well. Undeniably, we are in a very precarious situation, not just as a country, but also as an institution. We're still in the midst of navigating and assessing the aftermath of COVID-19 pandemic outbreak. For new provost coming on board and a strategic plan coming into place, as a shared governance partner, W seeks to only play a part in capturing the needs and wants of our students. A huge shout out to the Provost Search Committee, particularly the leadership of Dr. Brian Kogan and Dr. Sarah Sami, as well as student leaders Alicia Ewing and Kathy Hernandez. A student version of strategic planning will be launched during the State of the Student Body Address next Wednesday, which will coincide with the WSA Assembly meeting. A projected 3-year plan will be presented by the end of this academic year to ensure the sustainability of our collaborative goals. The WSA Assembly will be the foundation of designing the student strategic plan, and I could not be prouder of the leadership by WSA Speaker of the Assembly, Sam Longlet, and his team has helped grow the Assembly from a total of 70 representatives and senators last year to 187 individual registered Assembly members, which comprise a total of 107 RSO representatives. And we are at a growing rate of 10 new members every week. With this incredible growth, I believe WSA has grown to be an avenue that is accessible for all students. Most definitely, I can't provide an exhaustive list of what WSA has done, as it would take more than just 5 minutes. So as I conclude my remarks, I hope that everyone here and the campus community will join us in our collaborative efforts to strive along our motto, empowered students, empowering students. As always, it is an honor to represent the student body to address the Board of Trustees. Onward for the brown and gold. Thank you.
Thank you. And I think your growing membership is just only one indication of the approval from the student body for the work you have been doing. I think the record speed that we were able to set up the measurements in the campus, working with the city of Kalamazoo for making our campus a lot safer place for our students. It's just an example of the work that you have been doing that brings great impact to this campus. So thank you very much for the work you guys do. Any questions from our comments from our board? No, thank you. And last but not least, we welcome to the podium Mr. Mohammed Asif from the GSA. Oh, he's doing virtual.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
All right, perfect. So good morning, Church and Zang, members of the board, the rest of our Westerns family and friends. One key thing to notice here from everybody's speech so far is how Western is moving on a collaborative effort. That is something to be proud of, and we're working in unity, and that's something that we should definitely take pride in and continue that forward. And you'll see a lot more of the theme coming through my report here. Our general reports from the GSA. We have had another successful event with the Halloween ball. We worked with the Bernhardt Center to make sure the existing events for trick-or-treating, along with our pool that we had success set for 50 students to come in, have a space where they can relax and have fun, which turned into a bigger event of 200 plus students, faculty, and staff gathering just to celebrate a fun time together. Apart from that, we've had the success of the presidential walk from earlier this semester, and we're planning our second walk, which was an effort to make sure President Montgomery, would walk through different departments and engaging students, meeting them where they are, and figuring out what the status of our university is. There's been good positive feedback from our first visit, and we're working towards second in pulling that forward. The third item on our list is well-being. One of the most underutilized resources on our campus is the rec center, from what we found. And we've been working with the rec center to identify why that is so and what we can do to make sure that there is more engagement on that front. What we have found is there are grad students who are unfamiliar with what to do in terms of using the equipment. There's some uncertainty finding groups and so on. And so the rec center has offered to partner with us in making sure that we can send them groups of people who can get educated on how to operate safely and effectively and make sure that the wellness aspect of graduate life is satisfied. As we all know, graduate school is a short duration for a lot of students, but it needs to be a productive one because we need to make sure we accomplish our tasks within what we need to do. In that spirit, we are working to make sure that the GSA leadership, the directors, have utilize existing resources within Western and not just focus on developing new ones. The reason I say this is that we have found through our initiative that each time we start a new effort, we are it's a new base, and starting that from scratch takes time, takes effort, and reduces effectiveness. What we do have at Western is good structure in terms of career services, in terms of mental well-being, and so on. So if we are to partner with each of these groups, have them as mentors for each of our directors, then we can have a more successful and progressive efforts in moving resources forward for our students. So in that spirit, what we have done at GSA is have a mentorship roles assigned to each director. How does this work? And how does this work is we have different VPs or different management people within Western who would be experts in their field. And one of the greatest example I can bring is Candy McCorkle, who is great at diversity inclusion and working with our outreach, Google Antonio, in making sure that we can have success in what we're trying to push forward. Now, as we develop strategies and solutions to move forward, we're also trying to look at how to keep them sustainable. With each new leadership, it takes time, it takes effort, and grad student life is hard already. So as we do these things, we want to make sure we leave a legacy behind. So the mentors have volunteered to make sure they can keep record of how to move these things forward. So each year, as a machine learning program, we would keep getting better, better, and better. We have had success so far with professional development, with marketing, with inclusivity. And our next efforts will be focusing on international relations. We are setting up a team along with Dr. Schumann, an action team that from the university side will explore solutions and strategies to problems that we identify. So it will be a collaborative effort. Each person has a check on the other to make sure that we have success in what we're trying to move forward. This is something we hope to do by the end of the semester and bring this forward to us. On the other hand, we have had a successful mental health week from the WSA side. And I think GSA has partnered with that, and we're trying to make sure that we grow and foster mental well-being for students on our campus. One of the important things to notice here is that we work together and not divided. So far, we've had some focus groups where we explored the idea of do we want to have separate identities in terms of having groups for grad students moving forward, or do we want to make sure that we have an effective working style with the management to move forward? And so far, what we've found in our focus groups is that the easiest solution from an engineering standpoint of view is to work with existing infrastructure, which is Western Michigan University, where we find our concerns, we bring it to an action team, and the action team from the university side helps explore this. So with that, I conclude my report, and I thank you all for letting me speak in this meeting.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Asif. Thank you for all your work and collaborative efforts to make the 2 years of the graduate study the most impactful 2 years of someone's life. As a graduate student once myself, I would say it's a hard to, on the fun part, to compare the 2 years of graduate study with your 4 years of undergraduate on the fun part. Nevertheless, it can be the most impactful 2 years in your life. So thank you for all your work on that. So thank you for all those reports. And President Montgomery, would you lead the next item on our agenda, please?
Thank you, Chair Chen Zhang. So, earlier this semester, we talked about our enrollment and the number of students who had signed up for housing on campus. It was really great news that having full residence halls helps make them vibrant centers of engagement for our students, helps plug them into a community that really has big implications for success. What do we know? We've done a number of different studies, and we found that students who live on campus do find community, and one of the products that come from that is that they have a higher retention rates between their first and second years. Those students also who go another step and are part of a living learning community are also far more likely, I think twice as likely, to graduate in 4 years as students who live off campus. So being part of these living learning communities, being part of residence life, living on campus has great benefits to the students in terms of connectivity and then their long-term academic success. One of the things we did this year for the first time with our Empowering Futures, some of those resources, is not only give scholarships, also give scholarships dedicated towards the housing and making it possible, and then to tie that housing scholarships with the ability to be part of a living learning community. So this Bronco Connect community is what we've called it, has really helped and is designed to make sure that new students get a really strong start at Western. So I'm pleased to be able to introduce Melissa Holman, who's the Director of Multicultural Affairs for Students and part of that team that developed these housing scholarships in this program. So with that, I'll turn it over to you, Director Holman.
Thank you, Dr. Montgomery, and good afternoon to the board, Chair Chen Zhang, for having us today to talk to you a little bit about the Bronco Connect Living Learning Community. I want to acknowledge that there are a team of individuals who are in charge of envisioning and executing the Bronco Connect Living Learning Community. From Residence Life, Laura Dara, the Assistant Director of Residence Life Engagement and Assessment. Standing with me is Tyler Marushak, who's the Residence Hall Director at Eldridge Fox, where our community is housed. Evan Heiser, who's the Senior Director of Career and Experiential Education, and Jim Herman, Career Development Specialist, who are both located in our Career and Student Employment Services in Murray State College. We envision the Bronco Connect Learning Community to be just this. In our next slide. Just this. A place where students could discover more of themselves while beginning their journey at WMU, while also having some guidance to help them along their path. In the first year, we accepted 44 students from our 3 targeted areas, and you'll see those at the top there. All of their applications share similar themes: safety, community, growth, and engagement. This photo here is a picture of our Advance, which is a 2-day bridge program created for our Bronco Connect students. The focus of the Advance was setting the tone for our academic year and establishing relationship for the cohort of new beginners. 100% of these students personalize a plan for their success. Every Bronco Connect student has created this success plan, and in it, students identified 3 goals they would accomplish within their first semester. The first goal had to be an academic goal, of course, because that's what keeps you here. We tried to have the students set their second goal around engagement because of the effects engagement has on student persistence. And the third goal could be anything those students would like for it to be. In their goal setting, there was a theme of students wanting to find their fit through joining clubs and organizations, of wanting to learn to manage time effectively. And then the third was surprisingly around most of them wanting to get active in their well-being and also fitness. As a part of the required programming, every student must attend 7 of 15 events offered during the semester or substitute them with something of interest during their first semester. As of Monday of this week, students have completed 175 program hours between them, with more to go, with just around about 5 events that we have left planned. Each event is attached to a signature pathway. And by the end of the experience, the hope is for every student to have declared a signature pathway. We have a few events left, and this photo here is from the Halloween event that just happened. And we found success with them setting those academic goals. So 61% of them have a 3.0 or better at midterms. Students who are not doing as well are already set up with a success coach through our Navigator network, which is just the joy of being able to use these Empowering Futures gifts to create a more holistic experience for our students. And so we're hopeful by the end of the year, the students will report having a greater sense of belonging, that they have the opportunity to learn more of themselves with that self-discovery, and that they have began the journey of engagement through Bronco Connect. And so I do want to introduce you to one of our students who actually took time out today to be able to address the board. B.
Hi, I'm a freshman, and I joined Bronco Connect before school began and came in early. And right off the bat, I really felt included and I really understood what we were expected to do. All our the all the meetings that we've had have really made me feel more comfortable leaving my dorm and exploring all the events that have been planned out, and make me feel like I'm actually learning and being engaged within the community. And I've already been able to establish a community of friends that I can all go to through Bronco Connect. It's very much helped me make sure I am out and about and learning all the time. Thank you.
And now we'd like to address any questions the board may have about the community.
Thank you. I think I'm reading this three, and it really echoes with me. The belonging, self-discovery, the engagement, because I remember I did some speeches addressing different groups, and I always say, we talk about the mental wellness, the mental health. One thing that is utterly critical to maintain mental health, to have the confidence, is for someone to really realize and have the profound understanding of who he or she is as a person. And that kind of discovery sometimes is a lifelong journey, but a very good portion of it happens during the college days. And to be able to do that, you need to have a safe environment, and you need to have a supporting community for you to do that. The more you have the supporting from your peers, from the campus, from all of us, then more likely you can accomplish a very deep self-realization. And the earlier you do that, I think the more likely one can be successful down the road. So all these has a very deep meaning in what we try to do as an institution, the impact we're going to bring to the society and to the community. So thank you very much for your work. Yep, just comments.
Thanks very much. It's always great hearing about these successes. And I know it's early, but first question is sort of, why did you pick the three communities of Kalamazoo, Detroit, and Grand Rapids? And I commend you on using the airport codes. I just learned that, AZO is Kalamazoo. So, how did you pick those three? Yeah.
Those were outlined as a part of the Empowering Futures
Yes.
gift.
Okay.
And so because this is an initiative of Empowering Futures, that's why those three communities were chosen.
Perfect. And then is there any, it's very early still, but is there any ideas how to expand this or thoughts about how to expand this to other regions or other areas and affinity groups? Yeah.
Well, we're still early in our our planning.
I always
and
got to
so
push you guys. Come on. Yeah.
we're most definitely taking this first year as baseline. We're hoping to get the community to 110 by by the end of next school year.
Okay.
And so what our team is responsible for is making sure that we are taking in what the students are telling us they need, and then planning around the data that is available to us to be able to do more.
Fantastic. Thank you for presenting.
So, job well done in a short time. Jeff did say a little bit of what I was going to say, but that's okay. But my question is about your program. You said it was like signature path. So did you get the students' pathways? Did you get the students' input on that, or what approach did you take to select those various programs? And then can you just name a couple? I know you named the Halloween one, but can you name a couple of more?
And Tyler can come up too. So with Empowering Futures, what's so phenomenal about being able to work within the gift is that every effort that we have is cross-divisional. And so multicultural affairs through Office of Diversity and Inclusion, and then Merz Tate College, which represents our academic unit, and then also student affairs through Res Life. We bring the expertise from our areas. So the signature pathways are already existing areas. There are already those 7 that are outlined. And so we bring our expertise into that to be able to provide, programming around career, around diversity, equity, and inclusion, around some of those things that could be interesting to those students so that they might be able to declare by the end. And so Tyler, you want to speak to some of the programming?
Yeah, absolutely. So one of the things that like Melissa already said is like we really kind of assessed the signature program model, and we determined programs that would kind of fit in line with that. So me and the team kind of met at the beginning of the semester, right before the semester started. We created a calendar of events that would happen every Monday for the entire semester, and we kind of like alternated who would be in charge of each program. So one of them would be like Res Life, and then the next week would be the multicultural affairs, and the next week we'd have career services kind of doing some of those projects. So we did things such as like resume workshops where people would come in and like learn how to interview, how to do things like that. We did the Halloween program, which talked a lot about multiculturalism, and we talked about a lot of like wellness tips as well as like how to engage safely in some practices with around Halloween as well. Other programs that we did, like, so next week we're doing the cap and gown photo shoot where we're going to do kind of like envision yourself graduating, so that it's kind of shows people like, hey, I'm supported in my goal of graduating, and getting people to that next layer. Other programs that we've done in the last few weeks, we did like a s'mores event where we talked about kind of like safe studying tips as well. We did studying tables. We do a lot of like academic related programs related to just academic success, such as like study tips, how to turn your semester around when you have a bad grade, and like tips to support you when like you might have gotten like that first bad grade, or you might be in danger of failing a class. Like, what are your options? Like talking about the resources on campus, and talking about maybe if you're too far gone in a class, like how to withdraw from a course and how to recover from those things. So providing a lot of those resources to students has been very beneficial. And I think the reality of the programs is that we're being very responsive to student needs. We haven't got a lot of student input yet, and I think next semester we're doing a lot more of that, where we're getting a lot more of that student input. We do have 2 student leaders that are working with the program directly, and they give us a lot of program ideas too. So they're the ones that are talking to the students even more so than we are. And they're giving us these ideas to say, hey, I think the students will really benefit from this. We're seeing this trend. And we're about to launch an engagement survey to all students on campus. And part of that is going to be coming into the assessment of what is it that you need and what is it that you want to see in programming, and how can we meet your needs of where you're at.
Great. That will definitely help grow in the program. Thank you very much.
Any other questions? No? Thank you again. Secretary Schuman, do we have any public comments?
Chair Chenzeng, we do not.
Thank you. So we are now moving to action items. The first item for action is the sale of the Kalamazoo downtown property. Vice President Van de Clay, please.
Thank you, Chair Sensing. So this is a block of property downtown Kalamazoo. It's contiguous. It's bordered by West Kalamazoo Ave, Cooley, Eleanor, and North Park. At Western Michigan University obtained the property in 2017. We did not purchase it. Instead, this really stemmed from another pretty complicated donation to the university that occurred about a decade prior. At that point, a benefactor provided multiple parcels to WMU that were not contiguous. And in addition, there were a couple other downtown associations that owned parcels, also not contiguous. So in 2017, City of Kalamazoo, County of Kalamazoo, Western Michigan University, and other partners of downtown looked at the future needs of the community and work together to, I would say, reshuffle the deck, although that's not a really technical term. But as a result of that, we ended up with this property, which was contiguous. We did not have to buy it. There was no debt associated with it. So WMU has a clear title to it. If you're familiar with it, you'll see there is one building remaining on it that served for many years as the Whitley Funeral Home. Approximately about 6 months ago, that business found other property in Kalamazoo and relocated their business, so it's vacant. And approximately, maybe about 8 months ago, if you drive through downtown, you'll have noticed the county administration building, which looks like a building from the 60s. And then next to it, you'll see a very large building under construction. It's about 5 or 6 stories. It covers the entire block. And as a result of that, the county realized they need more land for parking and for expansion. So they came to us to see if we would be interested in selling this block to them. County obtained an appraisal, we obtained an appraisal, kind of agreed in the middle. The county is going to be responsible for demolishing the building. So the price under negotiation is $1,150,000. The county did do a phase 1 environmental audit. Phase 2 is still necessary, and as a result, the county can come back and withdraw from the purchase agreement depending upon the findings. We do not expect any negative findings based on the history of how that property was used. And the goal is to have a purchase agreement and close November 18th this month. Both parties can agree to extend that date if it's necessary. So for example, if the phase 2 environmental agreement is not done. So today we're requesting the Board of Trustees to approve the sale of the property for $1,150,000 and to authorize WMU to negotiate the purchase agreement with the county. And I am going to read the recommended action. It's long, it's complicated, and I'm going to have to take a few breaths along the way. And we can thank our general counsel because he added to it. So, pursuant to the retained powers of the board regarding the transfer of real property, as recommended, the board approve the sale of Kalamazoo downtown property to Kalamazoo County according to the terms of the purchase agreement. It is also recommended the board authorize the president, treasurer, or assistant treasurer, the authorized officers, to finalize and to negotiate and execute any deeds, easements, closing statements, agreements, or documents, all known as the property sale documents, and to take such other actions necessary or convenient to effectuate and complete the transactions contemplated herein, with such modifications as they or any one of them may approve as reasonable or necessary, and that said property sale document shall be reviewed by and be in a form acceptable to the general counsel prior to execution and be in compliance with the law and with university policies and regulations and conform to the legal standards of the Office, Legal Affairs, Risk, and Compliance. And I would just note, Keith has been integral to the review of the documents and the draft purchase agreement to date. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
So to where the proceeds would go?
Usually at this point, what we would do is provide them at the discretion of the university to redeploy, whether to benefit financial aid, other purposes that would appear and be deemed as being the most impactful to the university. Because there is no debt, they're fully deployable.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? Can I have a motion?
So moved.
Thank you.
Support.
Thank you. It's a roll call.
Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Penn,
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy,
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, action passes.
Thank you. And next, we're going to hear from our own trustee Randall on the external audit.
Thank you, Chair. And good afternoon, everyone. Every year, WMU has an external audit review on your university's financials and renders an opinion. As in past years, Plant Moran oversaw the 2022 audit, and WMU again received an unqualified opinion, the highest level of assurance firms can provide. The WMU Audit Committee reviewed the report and recommended that this board approve the audit report. And my recommendation is much shorter, so I'm not going to brief. It is recommended that the board accept the 2022 external audit report dated September 26, 2022, conducted by Plant Moran. And for the board, I'm happy to answer any questions they might have.
Any questions?
Chair Chen Zhang, I move the recommendation.
Thank you. It's a roll call again.
I
Secretary.
support it.
Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Penn,
Yes.
Trustee Reinveld,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy,
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, motion passes.
Thank you. And then next, we're going to hear the changes to the student code of conduct.
Thank you for the opportunity to share this with you. Today, I bring a recommendation to modify the Student Code of Conduct in keeping with the recommendations that have been made and approved by the Faculty Senate as found in MOA 19-03. I like that it's 1903. I did that, it's just kind of fun. This recommendation pertains to the academic integrity policies and procedures. The policy itself is under the purview of the Faculty Senate. The administration of the policy is in my area in student conduct. So we really team together on the academic integrity policies and procedures here at the university. The changes that I bring before you today are meant to ensure due process for our students. They are codifying the prescription against applying academic sanctions without a finding of responsible through the academic integrity hearing process. They also address the need for timeliness in bringing the charge, as well as responsiveness to the Office of Student Conduct. Language that I would like to bring to your attention, and this is, I'm quoting this, I'm not going to plagiarize, I'm quoting this directly from the MOA. Charges of academic misconduct should be made within 20 university business days of discovery of the misconduct. In some instances, academic misconduct may be discovered after a course or program study is completed. No academic sanctions shall be assessed without a finding of responsibility through the process. So students deserve the right to go through the process and to hear what the charge is and to explain their side of the story. So we do not want people giving sanctions without students having that opportunity. The faculty member is expected to respond to communications from the Office of Student Conduct in a timely manner, typically 5 university business days. Should the faculty member fail to make timely responses, the case shall proceed to an academic integrity hearing panel, notwithstanding the faculty's member's selection of hearing type. Just so you know, faculty members get to choose whether it's going to be a hearing panel or whether they want to do an individual panel. If they don't follow through with responding to the office, then it goes to the panel. That's what that stipulation says. The failure of either the student or the faculty member to appear shall not preclude a hearing from proceeding, nor prejudice the outcome. So we will continue to move forward with those cases. All other changes include adding headers consistent with the language in the undergraduate and graduate catalogs, referring to faculty as faculty rather than instructors, and using consistent language in all three documents. The undergraduate catalog and the graduate catalog have already been updated with the new policies and provisions. We still need to do that with the student code. So that is what I'm bringing before you today. So it's recommended that the administration be authorized to update the student code of conduct consistent with the approved Faculty Senate MOA 19-03. And I'm happy to entertain any questions that you might have.
Any questions? Oh,
Yeah,
Jeff.
Yeah, thanks for that summary. I couldn't understand whether there were these new bullet points or number one and number two, were these new additions or what was sort of this replacing or was?
There was not a time frame
see.
established previously, so
Yep.
sometimes it was taking too long for the faculty members to bring the charge, and sometimes they weren't bringing a charge. Students just would find out that the faculty members thought they cheated when they got their grade.
Oh.
So the time frame was really important to establish. The other issue is that the Office of Student Conduct was having trouble with both faculty and students responding in a timely fashion. And so we need to keep the process moving. So that's why we stipulated the 5 business days in terms of responding to the Office of Student Conduct, so we can keep the ball rolling.
Perfect. And
Yeah.
I'd like to thank the Faculty Senate for bringing this forward too. Also. That's all my questions.
Any other questions? Hearing none, can I have a motion?
So moved.
And it's a roll call again?
Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Penn,
Yes.
Trustee Reinvelt,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And now we move on to the consent items. Are there any trustees would like to move any of the consent items for future consideration? Hearing none, can I have a motion to approve the consent items?
So moved.
Support.
And it's a roll call again?
It is Chair Chen Zhang. Chair Chen Zhang,
Yes.
Trustee Johnston,
Yes.
Trustee Penn,
Yes.
Trustee Reinvelt,
Yes.
Trustee Turfy.
Yes.
Chair Chen Zhang, consent items pass.
Thank you. And Secretary Schuman, do we have any general public comments?
We do not.
Thank you. With that being said, I would like to call motion to adjourn the meeting.
Support.
So moved.
So moved.
All in
Support.
favor?
Aye.
Thank you. And just a very early happy Thanksgiving to all of you.